What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pizza and Pixels, the podcast where JP and I order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, Josh, aka HexxedPhenom.
And I'm JP.
And right off the bat, we just wanted to quickly apologize for the hiatus we've been on for the last month. If you guys watched the last episode of the HPJP show that went live April 5th or 6th.
The WrestleMania one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you watch that, you guys know that we went to WrestleMania. Of course, the morning we came back, I was dying. I had the flu, and then like a week later, while I was still battling the regular flu, I had the stomach flu, and it was just horrible. So I was like knocked out on my ass for like 2.5, 3 weeks trying to recover from that, and then the past like week and a half, our schedules just didn't work out very well with work. But we're finally back.
Yeah.
With Pizza and Pixels. And this news might be old to you guys by now, by the time we're getting to it, but it doesn't matter. We want to talk about it. Today we're going to be talking about the PS5 and the Xbox Anaconda, which is its code name right now, but basically the next-gen consoles. But of course...
And all the rumors.
You guys know that before we get into that, we got to order the pizza.
Fuck yeah, we gotta do that. Apparently it failed to send my last message to you, but I'm here, so that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I have 20 out of 60 points for my next free pizza.
Free pizza.
God, I hope it's nothing like the last experience.
Oh God, that was fun, and by fun I mean horrible. I don't know if we ever explained that during the podcast, but...
I don't think we did, but we were very... When it cut back to us, we were very pissed. We were very angry.
Basically,
that was not a good time.
We recorded the podcast, and then we got the notification that the driver had left
the fucking
store.
building.
And usually it takes the drivers like 10-15 minutes to get to my house, so it was like 20 minutes after it said that they had left.
And he only lives 5 minutes from the location.
But it still takes them like 10-15 minutes. But, so once it was like 20 minutes since the person had left the store, we were like, okay, just so we don't get interrupted while we're in the middle of the next topic, we're going to, just pause and wait until the pizza shows up, and that'll be that. So we go, we're waiting outside for another like 10-15 minutes. The pizza guy finally shows up, and the one pizza's fine, and the other one is like completely crushed. Like the box is like bent in half. The toppings are like...
it was just fucked. It was like the
all
pizza...
over the top, like the lid of the pizza box.
It was like that pizza commercial where they're like, do you have pizza insurance? Yeah, it was that pizza, except visibly seeing this guy grab it from his car. I'm like, oh, fuck. And lo and behold, it was absolutely toast. So...
And then the guy was trying to argue with us that, the pizza was fine and that we didn't need to get a new one.
And I wasn't having any of that.
We weren't having any of it. And then finally, we sent the guy back to get another one. And then you had to call the store, and they put you on hold with like 3 or 4 different people.
They like transfer me around the store, and the store is so small. So it was like they were just playing games, and I wasn't playing games. In fact, I almost drove up to the damn place and just would have raised hell right then and there. But... Luckily, he sent a new guy, and it took, I don't know, another hour.
Yeah.
And then Josh got his bombastic pizza.
It was like almost a 2.5 hour.
Yeah, it was
wait for the pizza.
Yep, and then we went on hiatus, essentially. So
because the next day I was in New York for the Kind of Funny meet and greet, and then the next day was WrestleMania.
And then I was in New York.
Well, while you were in New York, shows. I was dying. So.
And then he was dying, and yeah.
But
so here's that. I already got my cheesy bread on there, so the pizza's
sweet.
all ready for you to pick your toppings.
Oh God, what do I want to go
I'm
with?
just glad we're back in action after about a month.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, oh shit. But hey, the cool part is, the show has been popping up on Google, like boom, as soon as you search my name and all that stuff, it's just right there. I'm like, wow, that's fucking cool. So we're succeeding with a lot of PR here. And with that being said, I'm going to be done with this coupon, and we are going to get this pizza.
We're going to get this show on the road. And while JP is doing that, finalizing the order and whatnot, we're going to start talking about PS5 versus Xbox Anaconda, Xbox Scarlet, whatever the hell.
The Xbox.
It's gone by multiple code names. I don't know if Anaconda and Scarlet are supposed to be separate consoles. I don't really know.
Xbox Scarlet Rose.
But we're going to talk about the Xbox first, because I feel like we know much less about that, especially because Sony recently did an interview with Wired, with Mark Cerny, where they talked quite a bit about the PS5. So,
hell yeah. This is always good news to hear about the next big thing. Always good.
So, with the Xbox 2, Anaconda, Scarlet, Lockhart, there's like so many different code names. I don't know if these are all different consoles. I have no idea.
It's probably going to be a cheese out. No,
but it says, according to our sources, there are 2 consoles currently being prepped, aiming for a 2020 holiday debut. A cheaper Xbox One S style console to succeed the Xbox One S, and a more beastly X style console to succeed the Xbox One X. The codename for the S2 seems to be Lockhart, and the codename for the X2 seems to be Anaconda.
Jesus Christ. It's like a 007 movie. It's like, yo, you got Lockhart? Yeah, I got Lockhart. You got Scarlet? Oh, yeah. You got Anaconda? Oh, yeah, I got
I wonder what they're actually going to call this console. Is it going to be the Xbox 2? Is it going to be the Xbox 720?
I don't know. All of them sound
Is it
absolutely...
just going to be Xbox?
Personally, they've had the worst names I've ever seen.
I mean, to be fair,
they've just
Microsoft has also done the same thing with Windows, because Windows went from
XP. That makes sense.
just from XP to Vista to 7 to 8 to 10. But there was also before that there was Windows 95, 92,
and let's not forget how they forgot how to count in between 7 and 10. Let's not forget that.
7.
So
Windows
they're
7,
known for
Windows
those
8,
blunders.
Windows 10.
Windows 10. It's like
although the iPhone also did 8, 10. So
yeah. So they got there's a lot of weird stuff.
The tech industry doesn't like the number 9 for some reason.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious because like I don't know what else they could really do to their console besides what we already could assume.
But just in terms of naming conventions, like Xbox is so weird. Like
Xbox V1,
Xbox One X.
Further one.
It's like I don't know.
I don't know.
All power to the next gen Lockhart console will be the affordable SKU, providing the next gen Xbox experience in a package potentially around as powerful as the current Xbox One X hardware-wise, with refinements under the hood. The Anaconda console will be more powerful and more expensive, providing a cutting-edge console gaming experience. We've also heard Microsoft is exploring technology to dramatically reduce loading times, potentially including solid-state drive storage in the package.
I don't know why they haven't done that on the current gen, but at least they're getting to solid-state next gen, because flash memories.
I mean, to be fair, when these consoles were being manufactured in like 2011-ish,
I guess
SSDs were super expensive. I mean, even now they're expensive.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it's just thinking about like
it
how
used to
the
be
curve
like
is. Yeah, that's crazy.
$200-$300 just for like a 500 gig SSD. Now it's like $100.
Yeah, so I guess technology made it accessible. So that's cool. I'm sure a lot of people that are gonna have it in their console have no idea what an SSD is. So it's gonna be very interesting. But us tech geeks, we're gonna know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be very excited.
Hard information on how powerful each new console will be has been relatively hard to lock down. Suffice to say that both systems should provide a better experience than the current most powerful Xbox, the Xbox One X. It's been suggested that while Lockhart might not beat the X on raw power, it might make up for it with a more advanced operating system and superior CPU. Anaconda, however, is a different story. Google touted the power of its cloud-based Stadia platform as being more powerful than both PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, setting around 10.7 teraflops.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Google's getting in on this now? Jesus Christ, that's nuts.
Jason Schreier, leading games journalist for Kotaku, has stated that Sony and Microsoft are reportedly both aiming higher than 10.7 teraflops for their next-gen consoles.
Wow.
So, on paper, from a teraflop standpoint, Microsoft are aiming for PS4 or PS5 and Xbox 2, whatever, Anaconda, whatever, to be more
Xbox
powerful
2.
on paper than Google Stadia, which is impressive. Although Google Stadia is a streaming service, so that's getting too into the weeds. But
exactly. But hey, it's looking pretty good from the outside, that's for sure.
Basically, this article goes on to assume that the OS is going to be some form of Windows 10, Windows Core OS.
I can only assume. I mean, they got in-house.
Talking about Project xCloud and how that might integrate. But other than that, that's pretty much
xCloud,
all we really know about Xbox, Anaconda, and Lockhart, which isn't much, and these are pretty much all just rumors and hearsay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a generic add-on. I mean, they've been bombing with so many consoles that I think they're just playing catch-up at this point.
The thing with the Xbox One, as much as it might not seem like it, We obviously don't know now, but
exactly, but
because Microsoft isn't talking about their sales numbers and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But at the start of the generation, when they were still talking about sales numbers for the Xbox One, it was actually selling faster than the Xbox 360 was.
Yep. Which is
at launch, which is
crazy.
Crazy. So
Thank God it slowed down. Cause,
it's not like the Xbox One completely failed. I mean, PS4 definitely sold way more.
But Sony killed it.
It's not like Xbox One was a complete failure either.
It's kind of like how the Wii went to the Wii U, and yeah.
No, that's something completely different.
That's a complete failure. I mean, that's
like
toast.
The Wii, I think, is like the third or fourth best-selling console ever, and the Wii U is like the worst-selling console ever.
Even the PS Vita.
But, well, I don't know. I think the PS Vita probably sold more than the Wii U.
God damn, that's pathetic. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just interesting where companies are going. It seems like Xbox is pumping out more consoles than they can even craft. I mean, what now they're gonna do I'm guessing Anaconda is gonna be the discless Xbox console that's gonna fail most likely because Sony did the PSP Go that failed. That was all digital.
No, those are I think Microsoft would be really dumb to.
Apparently, they're making a console that they're gonna put out separately that is discless.
Like they already put that out.
Oh,
the Xbox One S all digital edition.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sure that's flopping right now.
I don't know if it's out yet. I think it's available for pre-order. But
yeah,
from what I've heard, people are pissed because its MSRP is $250, which on paper is $50 cheaper than the MSRP of a regular Xbox One S. But
is it really?
There's a lot of discs. Well, there's a lot of places where you can find a normal Xbox One S for $250 or cheaper. Like on Amazon, there's bundles of it for $250 or $220.
So they shot themselves in the foot. Damn.
And they said that whenever, like, if there's ever a sale on, say, Xbox, the regular Xbox One S, where it goes down to like $250 or $200, then the all digital will go down to $150 or whatever.
Exactamundo.
But one of the coolest things about the Xbox One S, in my opinion, is that it has a 4K Blu-ray drive, and you're taking that out by getting the all-digital edition, which is the only reason for someone like me to want an Xbox One S, because for some stupid-ass reason, the PS4 Pro doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player, but whatever.
That'll all change.
Yeah, that'll all change with PS5.
Speaking of which, now here comes the main story that a lot of us mainly just care about, because this is pretty crazy how much stuff has been already rumored and thrown out in the open and patented and a lot of stuff coming from.
So there are concrete details on the PS5 from Mark Cerny, who is the lead system architect for the PS4, the PlayStation Vita, and now of course the PS5. And Mark Cerny is an incredibly smart person. He knows. I mean, he just knows. But he knows exactly what he's talking about. And just listening to him talk about stuff that even I fully don't understand is still so interesting.
He knows what people want.
That being said, there are confirmed specs, the concrete details that we do know. It's the CPU is going to be an 8-core AMD chipset based on the 3rd generation Ryzen architecture.
Wow, shit.
Which, as far as I know, the 3rd generation Ryzen isn't even available yet for normal buying to put in your computer.
That's badass. Okay, so that's an edge. Alrighty.
So it's custom built for the PS5. The GPU is going to take the best bits of Radeon Navi GPU family, a built for purpose solid state drive storage system,
8K TV support,
3D audio, backwards compatibility with PS4 games, and PSVR hardware, and 8K TV support. They also did talk about somewhere else 8K upscaling. I'm sure we'll get to that somewhere. But this has all been revealed by PlayStation's top dog, Mark Cerny. While the look of the console remains a mystery, its internals are coming into focus, and they're very promising.
That's amazing.
That AMD 1-2 punch of the CPU and GPU unlocks the power of ray tracing, an advanced lighting technique that can bring next-level immersion to gaming visuals.
Oh, yeah. Yo.
It's used a lot in big-budget, CGI for Hollywood. If you guys don't know what ray tracing is, the most simple way I can explain it is It's legitimate real-time lighting effects, and it can be used as well to do real-time reflections.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't ever noticed, in pretty much any game you can play, other than there are some games on PC that support ray tracing now, but I'd say 99% of the games you'll play, if you go up to something that is supposed to be reflective, like a mirror or whatever, most of the time it either won't reflect anything, or it'll show what's commonly referred to as a cube map, which is basically just...
Or a blur, essentially.
Yeah, or a blur.
But it'll show you what's there. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 on Next Gen with the windows. When you're looking out the car, how it has like just blurs, but you can kind of see
it's
something.
just the mirrors are blurred.
It's just a blurred map, but...
Or like there's this thing that
GTA 6
I know Spider-Man used a lot on like the reflections for buildings is like a cube map, which it uses like based on where you're like what angle you're looking at it from. There's multiple different textures that are like pulled out and replaced that technically reflect different parts of the world, but it's only based on like a couple of different angles that you're looking from.
Yeah, just from the sun.
So it's not real-time reflections. It's just a couple of different reflection textures that are changed out depending on what angle you're looking at a reflectable surface from, or a reflective surface, I should say.
It's kind of like if you're standing still and you get the sun from different points of the day. At every point that's possible, you have your reflection in the background, so it's just like cubed for whatever you see and what's there with the lighting.
But ray tracing will be real time. It'll, as you know, I mean, obviously it's up to the developers to use it correctly.
Use it, yeah. That's the only thing. So they gotta want to use it. GTA 6 should be very promising with that.
Yeah. With 8K TV support comes far more detailed textures, as much larger ones at that. The news of a bespoke solid-state drive will be heartening then, just because the games will be becoming much more complex. That doesn't mean they'll be slower to load, though, because it's estimated the new solid-state drive is 19 times faster than traditional solid-state drive storage methods.
Yeah, it's going to be impressive.
So from what this sounds like is that this isn't just like a regular like
solid
SSD
state
that you can just kind of, go on Amazon and buy. It sounds like these are purpose-built.
These are made
for the PS5 and are meant to work with the PS5's architecture specifically to achieve the best results possible, which...
It's going to be impressive, that's for sure.
It's going to be awesome, but the one thing that I'm kind of worried about is I love swapping out my hard drive for a bigger one. I mean, maybe a year after I got my launch PS4, I swapped my 500 gig hard drive out for a 2 terabyte one, and that's what I've been using since. I swapped it over to both my PS4 Pros.
It makes me wonder if games right now are nearing 100 gigabytes. On PS5, I feel
that's going to be a scary thing.
I feel like games are going to be like 250 gigabytes.
I mean,
it's going to be crazy for people.
Even at launch, there's going to be...
Yeah.
I would say most games are going to be native 4K at the very least.
And 8K support.
8K support I don't think will come until later in the generation.
Probably in a second console. A Pro. PS5 Pro. That's probably what's
the PS5 default should be able to do 8K upscaling. So kind of like how the PS4 Pro
how it curves it
does 4K upscaling. But then I think the PS5 Pro, if they do one, would be like legitimate native 8K, which is insane.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And, he was talking about the technology with lighting and all that stuff. I saw this thing the other week. It was like a PS5 spec presentation of what could happen, and they had like a theater room, and it was like you were legit standing in that room. From every angle of the room was the same lighting and reflections, and it was crazy. There was a piano on the stage, and the shine was slowly moving with it. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was real life, honestly, after they showed a photo of it and went into the tracing. It was nuts. It's crazy.
Mark Cerny also said that the combination of the AMD CPU and GPU will allow them to also reach a new gold standard for audio for PS5.
Oh, shit.
And they'll basically be able to use... The way they explained it is to be able to use ray tracing for audio, which I don't think that makes sense from a technical standpoint, like just from a naming prospect. But essentially what it's going to do is allow developers to better map where audio is coming from and how it's affected by, like where you are comparative to
where that
the noise
sounds,
is coming from, or
so we're talking
what surfaces like the noise. Like, so for instance, like
depth perception, except for your hearing,
yeah,
not your
stuff
sight.
like that, or like for instance, like if you're playing, let's say, Call of Duty.
Oh God,
Something
that's
about
gonna be
how it'll change like how gunshots echo if you're inside just like a regular room, or inside like a metal crate, or outside,
or if you're like away from the main part of the map, like blackout
if you're,
mode,
like,
you'll hear a
like
ricochet.
gunshots out in the distance, or what the sound of bullets ricocheting off different surfaces or going through different surfaces. All these different things for audio.
It's gonna be so cool. I'm like, the more details that are coming out are just getting me beyond excited. I mean, I'm just so excited, man. So ready. Like, oh, fuck. At least we got the PS4 in the meantime, though.
Very true, very true.
Very, very, very true.
But, let's see.
Oh, I got an alert from Domino's. Out of the oven, making... Wow, that's cool. They actually send you legit push notifications that have emojis. They'll be like, out of the oven, and yo, we're hot. Like, what? That is great. That is great.
Sony president Kenichiro Yoshida has also previously confirmed the company is working on next-gen consoles in an interview, and said that they have been 4 years in the making already.
Fuck yeah, I like to hear this. Oh boy. What the hell is this notification? Your driver, Kendry... Ow, my bad. Your driver, Kendry, is on the way. And of course, they put a car emoji.
But,
so ready. Had to show off that hat, you know. It's... I knew I had to wear the PlayStation hat today. And then, you know, it was perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're rocking it. I had the dress for the occasion.
One such rumor is that the PS5 could be backwards compatible with the PS4, PS3, PS2, and PlayStation 1. It's been 100% confirmed already by Mark Cerny that the PS5 is 100% backwards compatible with PS4, but there was multiple patent filings that came to light recently that
suggests otherwise.
That suggests that it could also be possible for the PS5 to play PS3, PS2, and PS1 games.
It should just happen. It's just practicality. But yeah, we're getting there.
Seeing how the PS5 seems like such a huge leap forward in power from the PS4 even. It's... If I remember the patents correctly, it's been a while since I read into them, but basically it's saying that the PS5 is powerful enough to not need... PS4... it's a similar architecture, so they should work regardless. But with PS3, PS2, and PS1, the PS5, from what I can tell, is powerful enough that it doesn't need to have any of the hardware of those systems installed into the PS5.
Oh, that's great.
That it can just emulate the games on its own.
Yeah, so it could just be a full-on emulator, which is great.
Very well.
So it's a supercomputer.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping though that
they
they'll keep PlayStation Now around and they'll add in PS1 games to it, PS1 and PS2 games, and that you should be able to download every game on the service.
I'm excited because I'm definitely getting that service later this year, and they're going great with it. It's been redefined since I tried it like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Have you tried it recently or just back?
The only games I've played with it recently were all ones that I downloaded. So when you download them, obviously you don't need to worry about streaming them.
Yeah, but I gotta admit that changed in itself. You could just download the game. That alone
I wish you could
makes
download
it worth
PS3 games, because right now you can only download PS4 games. But
oh wow, I'm sure they'll probably change that by the time PS5 comes out. I mean, that's be kind of dumb.
So.
It'd be dumb if they didn't. Well, or you could just stream it. But yeah, you never know.
But this says, in terms of release date, with no official word yet on a PlayStation 5 release date, Sony's officially confirmed that they will not be at E3 2019, so it's difficult to pin down exactly when we might see the console launch. Some analysts are predicting the PlayStation 5 release date could be around 2020 or 2021.
I'm thinking holiday 2020. It just would be perfect. Yeah, it would be great advertising.
Especially because they probably want to get out at least around the same time as the Xbox 2 or whatever the hell it's going to be called.
Yeah.
And
they're pumping them out like
I don't know if that's confirmed, but I think it's all but confirmed that that's when the Xbox 2 is planning to be launched. So
the Xbox 2,
whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah, they've gone so forward with their names that I don't know how they're gonna go back. It was like Xbox 360. They should have just went Xbox 720 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's like, then they went to Xbox One, but it's like, wait, you already put out the original Xbox, but now it's Xbox 2, which is the 360, and it's a little confusing with how their marketing ploys are, but if the console works, I guess it works. Regardless, it's going to start a next generation console war. It's already confirmed. People are probably already waging war over these consoles, and they haven't even been announced yet.
Oh, one of the things that I forgot to mention is the patent that suggested backwards compatibility for the PS4, PS3, PS2, and PS1 games. It suggests that those games, all of those emulated games, if it's true and is in the PS5, that they would be able to, the PS5 would be able to basically, on the fly, in real time, like upscale textures for those games. So not like full-on remastering them, but definitely at least like upscaling the textures a little bit so that they don't look as rough around the edges, especially with like PS1 and PS2 games.
Can you imagine
that sounds awesome.
You pop in Crash Bash and it's like a remaster. Oh my god, Crash Bash is... Oh.
I mean, there's only so much you can do with... There's only so much you can do with what's
there
and what's in the game.
I mean, plus the polygons and all that. Like, the PS1 had such a low poly. I mean, it had to at the time. But even then, at the time, it was like us looking at PS5.
Yeah.
So it's like every console generation, you look at it the same, but in a different perspective.
I feel like where you would see the biggest improvement for things like that is when you would be emulating PS4. Well, PS4 games wouldn't need emulation. But the PS3 games, I think, would probably benefit from that the most.
I would like to see PS2 games upscaled.
I mean, I'm sure they all will be to some
will
extent.
Be upscaled, I'm sure. I think PS3 will probably be the biggest jump for many reasons. It's like a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah. They've confirmed that PS5 development is in full swing for its first-party studios, which makes sense.
Fuck yeah! I like this. I like this news. I like this.
And then there was let's see. In March 2019, PS Plus has decided that they will no longer offer free PS3 or PlayStation Vita titles. This has led some to speculate that they're kind of clearing room to be able to offer PS5 games for free at launch. That's not confirmed or really even rumored, but I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just practical. So I think it sounds like it checks out. I mean, everything seems okay. It doesn't seem too far-fetched.
Yeah. Mark Cerny also assured people that the PlayStation VR, the current PlayStation VR headset, will work 110% with the PS5 out of the box.
Imagine if he goes, nah, it's not compatible.
I'm thinking that they'll...
I'd be like, wow.
Because right now with PS4 and the VR headset, you have to have like a separate box that you have to plug into the PS4 that like handles all of the separate computing for the headset or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a black box essentially.
Yeah. I'm thinking that the PS5 will have all that stuff built into it already so that you don't need to have the black box. You could just plug the headset right into the PS5 and it'll work.
It'll make sense. I mean, it should be a supercomputer. And then, I think it's just shaped to be that at this point.
There are also rumors that there will be a PlayStation VR 2 headset at some point, but
that's just... We all have
again, that makes sense because...
It makes a lot of sense because there's always room for improvements in technology.
I mean, if you think about it, the PSVR is operating based on... I mean, I think even just the headset itself is way more advanced than the peripherals you need to use it because it uses the Move wands from the PS3.
Yeah, the headset's far
and
more
the PS4's camera, which is like some weird 720p thing.
So in theory, the second model is going to be a full-on upgrade.
Yeah.
In specs, which is cool. There's always time for upgrades with technology. What technology evolves? Like 2 years every like month or something like that, or I forget what the classic advancement is for technology.
Yeah.
It evolves so quickly. It's like there and it's gone just like that.
Yeah. But I guess the last thing we'll talk about since hopefully the pizza is almost here, is there was a
Okay, here we go. The
list
PS5
of
rumored games.
supposedly leaked PS5 games on a paste bin.
Is this
a
the
couple of weeks
thing?
ago.
Is this the thing I was hearing about where someone posted it and they took it down like an hour later or something? Okay, so that's how you know.
So this isn't 100% confirmed, but a lot of these things
it makes
either
sense.
make sense or there are other rumors circulating throughout the games industry that, support some of the things we're hearing here.
Mm-hmm.
So this has a list of, or the paste bin had a list of supposed PS5 launch titles. For this, we have Gran Turismo 7, PUBG Remaster, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It'll be 4K and it'll remain free to play for PlayStation Plus subscribers. The 4K remaster will only be on PS5, supposedly. Last of Us Part 2 remaster, which makes sense.
Has the second one been out for?
Last of Us Part 2 hasn't come out at all.
Oh, it actually hasn't come out. So
I'm
that
thinking
makes sense.
It's rumored that it's gonna launch this year, but I could see them pushing it back till spring 2020.
Because then they'll be like, oh, hey, so if you want, we got the remaster here.
Honestly,
But then again, they could put it out this year. It would make sense because they have a year to play it.
Yeah.
And then the remaster is on the new console for people that get it.
see,
It's a very practical
the thing that's confusing to me about, or that's going to be interesting to see, I should say, with like PS4 to PS5, is since the architecture is so similar and since it's going to be backwards compatible, I wonder what they're going to do in terms of like, okay, so, well, this is, I guess, saying that Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is going to be a completely separate game purchase, but like, how much of a difference is it really going to make playing the PS4 version on your PS5 compared to the PS5 remastered version, is what I want to know.
Probably just slightly upscaled. I don't think anything that special. But I honestly, it's a good move by them, though, because since the game didn't come out yet, they're just finishing the PS4 version, or maybe while they're doing it, when they finalize parts of the game, they're immediately sending it to their next gen team, and they're getting them done at the same time.
Yeah. One thing I would actually love to see is if they did something similar to this. So, let's say, they actually might do this, now that I think about it. But let's say, okay, so you buy Last of Us Part 2 for PS4. PS5's coming out, you're getting a PS5. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming out for the PS5. But they give the option for people that have the PS4 version to pay like $10-15
That's probably
to upgrade to the remaster version on PS5.
I could see that happening, and I could see this deal happening. They did it with The Last of Us, the original.
Because they did it with a couple of different games.
Because I brought Ellis to the store, and he traded his PS3 one in for the PS4, and he only had to pay, I think it was half priced. So, and if you do it on the store, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe you'll get a special code offer.
Because I know,
who knows? They have options.
Call of Duty Ghost did the same thing.
Because Ghost did the same thing. Because
2 or 3 weeks before the Xbox One and the PS4. And so they did this thing where if you had the PS3 version, you paid like $10 or $15, and you got the PS4 or Xbox One version, whichever you were going for. But I would love to see them do that.
Shit, yep. And then they did it with Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, they did.
They did it as well. So it's probably in the pipeline.
But there's also a Ghost of Tsushima remaster. That game's also not out yet.
I don't even know what that is.
It's made by the people that made the Infamous games. It's kind of looks like Assassin's Creed, but in like samurai era Japan.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
It actually looks really cool.
You think we're going to get another Infamous on PS5? Because they have not done shit with it since Second Son.
But I feel like if Ghost of Tsushima does well, then I feel like that'll get a sequel before we get another Infamous game.
Damn.
Although I would love to see... I don't know if...
I really dug it, though.
They have Blue Point Studios, or Blue Point Games, I think they're called, which is like the go-to studio typically for PlayStation's first-party like remasters. Like they did... I think they did Last of Us Remastered. They did the Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. They did... what the hell's that game called? Shadow of the Colossus. So they're known for remastering PlayStation exclusive games. Okay. So I'd be interested to see. I think possible. Blue Point might actually do. I don't know. I would love to see them do an Infamous trilogy remaster
I think they should
of Infamous 1, 2, and Second Son.
and have like Festival of Blood and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
all the
I
DLCs
think
included.
it has to
Festival
happen.
of Blood and First Light or whatever
First
it was called.
Light. Yeah, I think they need that for sure.
That'd be awesome. But it also has Battlefield Bad Company 3, which makes sense.
That's a no-brainer. I just hope EA can recover from what they did to the series.
Hopefully. And then we have Harry Potter, which if you guys don't know, there was a leaked Harry Potter game earlier this year, or maybe it was even last year. I don't remember really.
Yeah, I heard some rumors about it.
But
should be interesting.
I don't remember who was developing it, but basically it was like this super in-depth RPG where you could like pick which house you were aligned with, and that would change like what kind of spells you can do.
Yeah.
If you're interested in Harry Potter, it sounds really, really cool.
Yeah, if you're in the Harry Potter, I'd check it out. It's looking like a pretty awesome title.
And then this just says Assassin's Creed, so whatever Assassin's Creed game is coming out that year.
Yeah, we already know it's coming. And then there's the one that is the most peculiar, and that
the leaks also suggest Horizon Zero Dawn 2 slated for 2021. And then it also says GTA 6 may have a 1-month exclusivity to the PS5. And now, I was thinking, like, when I first heard that, I was like, no, that's fake as hell. But then I remembered a couple of months ago, I think we actually talked about it on this podcast.
I think we actually did.
Where there was rumblings about Sony or PlayStation possibly buying Take-Two Interactive, which is the parent company of Rockstar.
Yep.
Because there was some kind of rumbling going on with investors, something about PlayStation and Take-Two.
It makes sense entirely.
And people thought that they were going to buy them, and so Take-Two's stock like shot up. And then Sony was like, no, we're not buying Take-Two Interactive, and then people were like all pissed about it. But it makes sense if that rumbling was not to buy Take-Two Interactive, but to buy exclusivity for GTA 6.
Yeah, so they just bought the exclusivity. All right.
So that would make sense to me.
Pizza's here.
Oh, God. All right, well, the pizza's here, so we're going to finish off talking about GTA 6 real quick. But,
the bomb-tastic GTA title we've been waiting for. The biggest Grand Theft Auto of all time.
Yep. Rumors indicate that there will be 2 major cities for us to explore, that being Vice City and Liberty City, of course, based on the real-life locations of Miami and New York City. Respectively.
It just seems practical to go there. You know, it really does. We haven't seen it since, 2008 for Liberty City, and Vice City we haven't seen since, technically, Vice City stories in 2006.
I mean, I think you and I and a couple other people have been, me and you have always been saying back and forth to each other, ever since GTA 5 came out, that GTA 6, it makes sense for it to be Vice City, because GTA 6, of course, the Roman numeral for
VI,
6 is VI,
and
then just CE, CITY, like
yeah, exactly, and
it writes itself.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't know if you want to put that logo that I sent you guys into the video so they could see like a concept, but I gotta admit that the logos that people have been making are really cool. But regardless, you know, they'll take GTA 6 with the VI and do their thing. I mean, personally, I had a pretty good idea. Imagine, since there's 2 cities, and this is rumored to take place in the 70s, and you are a drug runner that becomes a drug lord, and you go between the cities. So that's basically the leak story that got removed. And yeah, I could see the logo being like the Grand Theft Auto part being very New York, and the VI and 6 being very Miami neon colored. I think that would be really, really sick to see it all come together and have the atmosphere.
That'd be a cool look, but at the same time, I feel like they wouldn't drop that like iconic Grand Theft Auto font. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna yeah, they'll have the font guaranteed. It'd be cool if they just like.
You mean like coloring wise, or like, the art style behind it?
Like, like taking the font as we know it, and then just adding a little more, and then making it vintage for the 70s.
That'd be cool.
Because most likely this is in the 70s. It would make sense then, because in theory, if GTA 6 has the roots of Vice City, that leads into Vice City, and then it has the roots for Grand Theft Auto 4 that obviously goes into Nico Bellic.
Well, I know one of the things
before he goes bowling with Roman.
I don't remember who it was from Rockstar, but one of the big higher ups at Rockstar was basically saying, like, a couple years ago, maybe it was like a year ago at this point, that they were glad that they were like working on and releasing Red Dead Redemption 2 because they felt that a GTA like in the modern day just wouldn't be able to make sense because of how fast society moves nowadays.
Yeah,
like
everything's gone within 2 hours.
The story that they come up with wouldn't be like culturally relevant by the time the game comes out. And with especially how offended everybody gets about stuff nowadays, they knew that he was basically saying that
like it. Yeah,
they knew that they couldn't do anything relating to anything in today's political climate. So it makes sense that they want to do something not in today's political climate.
Honestly, they kind of barely got away with it with Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, it's a great
GTA 5
game.
came out like right before the whole like outrage culture, people getting offended by everything.
Basically, people being spineless.
It came out like right before that.
Yeah. It came out before everybody had an agenda, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's when people were a little more level-headed. Now they're just off entirely. So, I mean, it makes sense because if you made a game that didn't strike people at all, and if it did, it only hit them for a week, I mean, people would still play it. But after RDR2's massive blunder, they need Grand Theft Auto more than ever. I mean, 5 selling still, but yeah.
Red Dead sold well from what I can tell. It's just people aren't happy with online right now.
People are just giving up on that game entirely. And GTA makes like 5 times more money than RDR. Online,
well, I mean, to be fair, there's also not like
there's nothing to do. Yeah.
Or do. There's nothing to do either.
Yeah, they're kind of just stringing us here. But GTA 6, though, that is probably my most highly anticipated game on PS5. Because you know it's going to be perfection. Yeah. They take their sweet time. And you think it's going to be the 70s? I think the 70s sounds cool. They haven't done it before. So
I could see either...
Or even the early 80s. I could see that, too.
I don't know why.
As long as it prequels Vice City, it's okay.
I kind of wouldn't mind seeing them do like a mid to late 90s kind of thing, but I feel like 70s definitely fits the story more.
Because they did San Andreas. That was in 1992.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, and then they had a San Andreas thing for the phone that took place in like the late 90s. So, I think it's going to be pretty set. I think we got a lot to look forward to with the consoles, and I think we're going to be thoroughly impressed.
I'm super excited for the PS5. One other thing that article didn't mention that I wanted to mention when we were talking about the SSD, the solid state drive, is the example that Mark Cerny showed off to the press or whatever that was interviewing him, was they played Spider-Man PS4 on a PS4 versus a PS5.
Ooh.
They fast traveled from the same location in the map on both tests to the exact same location. The PS4 Pro version took like 19 seconds to load from going from one location through the loading screen and getting to the other location and being able to play again.
Oh god. What about the PS5 build?
The PS5 version,
tell me at least 3 seconds.
They said it took 0.8 seconds.
Yeah,
and the thing is,
that sounds good to me.
In
pre-order confirmed.
Well, okay, so in Spider-Man, if you guys haven't played it, when you fast travel, the loading screen it like fades to black.
Oh, and then it's like,
and then it's Spider-Man riding the subway, and it shows him like interacting with people on the subway, and then it fades to black again, and then it goes out to wherever you fast traveled to.
My favorite's the guy that's looking at the newspaper that says, "Who is Spider-Man?"
He's like, sitting right next to Spider-Man, yeah.
that is by far my favorite. I want to play Spider-Man.
But basically the way that the press guy had wrote about it, he basically said that like there wasn't even time to show that like cutscene of him in the subway. It just basically faded to black, started to fade in to show that Spider-Man on the subway, and then faded right back to black, and then back into the game.
You see, that's the crap we need.
Like less than a second. That's insane.
Doesn't it seem like a lot of games on the PS4 take an eternity of load? Like WB 2K18.
A lot of games do, but that's
Spider-Man.
Well, the thing is a standard hard disk drive can only load so fast. That's what's holding back the consoles. It's not the processing power or the GPU.
It's just the hard disk.
It's the hard drive.
Yeah, that's what I was sitting there.
Because regular hard drives haven't improved their technology in...
It's been years.
Many years.
Before solid states. It's been a long time, essentially. Yeah, so when I was seeing that, I'm like, this has to be the hard drive, but of course nobody knows that, and they just blame the game developers, but... Okay, so there's...
I think the worst loading times I've seen on the PS4 is a game that just came out, Days Gone.
What? Days Gone?
Yeah. Oh. It has, like, by far the worst loading times I've seen on PS4.
Oh, man, that kind of kills it for me a little. I mean, I'm still going to enjoy the game. I have the game because my buddy got it for free on the Digital Deluxe or something, and he sent it to me, but I have not actually gone to play this game because of all the crap that I've seen that has happened that has to be patched. And I'm just like, maybe I'll give it a month because I haven't played much of it yet either. I have so many games to play. My one friend actually, he was in the woods and there was like this tree on fire. And then all of a sudden he's staring at it and it just goes, and the tree's not on fire anymore. It was like a normal tree. And he's like, okay. And my one friend was driving in the wilderness on his bike, and all of a sudden, like, this wild wildebeest thing, like how they had it in Tony Hawk games, how, like, when the cat would jump on your head and go, it would just get thrown at you, right? He's just driving. I'm sure you could probably see all this stuff on YouTube, too, but he's just driving, and then all of a sudden, you just see, like, this massive fucking wolf just get thrown forward at him, and he flies off a cliff, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, so stuff like that's happened to me too.
So I'm just giving it time because clearly there was a lot of hype behind this.
But yeah, I don't know if loading times are faster or slower on the PS4 Pro. I would assume probably slower because it's 4K or whatever. But the game literally takes
how long do you think it takes?
30, 40 seconds to load. From like when you start the game and you like first load into your save, it's a good like 30 or 40 seconds. And every time you die, it's at least 10, 15 seconds. And there's loading screens between every single cutscene.
So basically you could take like endless piss breaks.
Pretty much. Like,
I died. Time for a piss break.
Like you'll drive to a mission and you'll get to the mission marker and then it's like a 10-second loading screen for the cutscene. And then the cutscene ends and then it's like another 10-second loading screen to get back into the game. It's like...
Wow, I'm glad I got this for free. I'm sure it's a great game. It's just, it sucks it's plagued by so many problems at launch.
Again, though, like
it might have got pushed
the
out
loading
early.
issues, I mean, some of it, can be attributed to the fact that it does seem like the game was rushed a little bit, rushed out the door.
Do you think it's breaking the console? Like, are we at the point where games are starting to fully take it to the limit? Oh, okay. I was just saying.
I don't know. Personally, I don't think Days Gone...
You don't think Days Gone does it? I'm sure there's games that do it, though, right now.
Red Dead probably is the closest in terms of a multi-platform.
I think Red Dead, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
In terms of a first party, I'd say probably either God of War or maybe Spider-Man.
I feel like Spider-Man could really... If they had the other islands, it would really take it to the limit. But on the one island, that's a lot of stuff. They have a lot of detail.
I mean, depends on what's being taken to the limit, because Mark Cerny said in this whole press junket thing that one of the main like things with the Spider-Man PS4 is the reason that Spider-Man swings as fast as he does is because that's literally as fast as they could possibly like render the city by loading it off the hard drive.
Wow.
So that's like the fastest they can actually render the city with the current hard drive.
Oh my god.
Like they can't actually spin the hard drive any faster to get the data out like off the game to load the the world faster.
I was to say, I think like in terms of the PS4 Pro with Spider-Man and RDR2, I think those games are fully taking it to the limit.
I think
RDR2 is definitely pushing boundaries, though.
I think God of War might actually have... it's all subjective. I think God of War has better graphics than Spider-Man, but also God of War, as far as I can tell, isn't rendering this huge world all at once.
That's the thing. Spider-Man, that's like Manhattan. You kind of have to render it. That's the crazy part with that. And, man, just seeing people take that shit to the limit, that's how you know you're nearing a new console is the tech that's in the previous console starting to get absolutely taken to the limit. I mean, to the point where obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 is not going to be on PS4. It's not going to be on Xbox One. It's just too much. Like, could you imagine them trying to load GTA 6 on PS4?
It just wouldn't work.
I mean, if anything, it would just be a mock mod of Grand Theft Auto 5 with a new.
Yeah.
They would have
and
to.
Even then, it would.
They would have to do what Call of Duty has done for the low scales of games. Like
that's honestly not even worth
degrade
it.
It's horrible.
That was the thing is, I was gonna ask you, do you think it's possible for GTA 6 to beat GTA 5 in terms of sales? But I think it's impossible because GTA 5 released on two different generations of consoles, and it sold incredibly well on PS3 and 360 for the year and a half that it was exclusively on those consoles.
Yeah.
But then PS4 and Xbox One, those versions sold so well, and then a year later they had a
PC release. So yeah, GTA. I think long-term GTA 6 could beat GTA 5 sales if they know how to play it, but realistically on the table right now, I don't think it could be beat because of the walls and boundaries are broke down. Because GTA 5 is the best-selling game of all time. We're not counting Wii Fitness because that came with the Wii. But
there's weird technicalities to it. Because, Minecraft I think is technically number 2.
Damn, wow.
But Minecraft also has so many different versions. They have Pocket Edition, and they have different versions for each console, which they count them all together.
Oh,
but
that's not fair.
Well, technically you do that with GTA 5 too. You're not just counting the PS4 or the Xbox One. You're counting.
Well, yeah, but that's not a different game. Wait, are we talking about...
I think Minecraft right now, I'm pretty sure on every console other than Pocket Edition, I'm pretty sure it's all the same.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Minecraft this, Minecraft that. It's okay, well, that's a different concept. But see, Minecraft's universal, though.
So that's Minecraft, and then I think technically the number 1 is Tetris. But that's been on every fucking console ever made, pretty much, since the Game Boy.
Yeah, so if we were modern, it's probably... I'd like to say it's Grand Theft Auto.
In the modern
era,
this decade, yeah.
I think so. And then obviously people are like, but Wii Sports is the best seller. It's that doesn't count.
Yeah,
that comes with a console bundle.
Came with the Wii.
Yeah, that's U2 plugin.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. I was gonna say I think GTA might have beat that, but I don't think it did.
Honestly, though, the way that they're going with Wii Sports, that's kind of like how U2 plugged their album to everybody on iTunes and counted it as sales.
I remember that.
Yes. It was the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen.
I don't want this YouTube bullshit on my phone.
And that counted as album sales because that's how digital distribution works. Yeah, and nowadays the way people do it, which is more practical.
I wonder how much they had to pay Apple for that, though. I wonder if
they're fucking loaded. So I'm sure Bono was like, "Hey, Steve, here you go." But
I wonder if it was actually worth it for that. I wonder how much return on investment they got from that.
U2's always been larger than life, so I'm sure their egos got bigger.
True.
Yeah, their egos got bigger, but nowadays musicians are now giving you, which a lot of you guys probably noticed, when you buy tickets, you get a CD. That's how they're upping, they're bulking out their sales, which is cool. More practical.
It makes sense.
I'm just ready for the next generation of consoles. I liked all the past PlayStations. They served their point. I still hack the crap out of my PSP to this day. But yeah, seeing something new and refreshing, it's cool. And so I guess to end the podcast, let's see, I have something else planned. So I'm just trying to think how to ask this. Okay, do you think that for some reason people are starting to believe this, and I think it's an absolute crock of shit, but do you believe that PS5 and Xbox over the goddamn rainbow will be the last consoles that ever exist?
See, I feel like this rumor or hearsay, whatever you want to call it, I feel like people have been saying that for years. Every generation coming since the PS3 and 360 were coming out.
So I think
we're PC gaming is going to take over, and that's going to be it, and consoles are going to die, and that's going to be it. But
that one track mindset, and
PS3 and 360 sold amazingly well.
Yeah.
PS4 and Xbox One. PS4 at least is still the fastest selling PlayStation of all time. Xbox One was the fastest selling Xbox. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, they all broke records for their own respects.
PlayStation just crossed 98. PlayStation 4 just crossed 98 million units.
So
it's within I think it's within 4 or 5 million of beating the PlayStation 1.
It was insane, and I think a lot of people, it's showing just how kind of uneducated they are with technology and how things go. Because in theory, if these were the last consoles, what in God's name would happen, knowing that when these consoles come out, they're already obsolete by about a year in technology. So it's like,
I think there's always going to be a market
for it.
For people that don't want to worry about having to update their drivers all the time and having to upgrade their graphics card every couple of years and having to get a new CPU and having to do repairs on their PC. Like, even as someone who is technically savvy and knows how to do all that stuff, I still don't want to do PC gaming.
Yeah, it's like, I like PC. I have nothing against it. I think it's just keeping up with specs is
I think it'll always be
there, like, because they make
games will always perform better on PC for the most part, except for the odds and ends examples you see with like shitty ports like with Batman Arkham Knight and stuff like that. But as long as they're optimized, I think PC games will always perform better than console games. But that's not what consoles are for. Consoles are for the ease of use, being able to sit down on the couch and just pick up a controller and just play, not having to sit hunched over a keyboard and a mouse,
and trying to manage like 15 applications at once.
Yeah, and having to update your drivers
and your software. Yeah, so I think
there's always going to be a market for consoles.
And as long as there's a market, there is always going to be a console war, which is the dumbest thing ever, but it still carries on to this day.
It'll be interesting to see how the console war escalates, or if it does escalate, because I feel like Nintendo's always going to do their own thing, but I feel like even Microsoft now is kind of taking their own approach. Like, I mean, the PS5 and the Xbox One are still going to be, or Xbox 2, are still going to be similar in terms of specs, but I think how they're handled is going to be very different, because I feel like Xbox is going to be pushing their streaming service very hard. While I think PlayStation is not really going to push PlayStation Now that much. I think they're going to improve it, definitely. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to be like
they're something that they're like all the time.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's
like
what
the
Xbox
WWE
is
Network.
hoping for.
Yo, it's $9.99.
I think that's what Xbox is hoping for, is that they'll be able to get a market for their streaming service, and then at some point, maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, release an all digital version of the Xbox 2 that is just streaming. Like there'll be like almost Steam no machine. Internals. Well, not really the Steam machine,
not
because
like but
the Steam machine just is like a weird PC with like Steam just loaded onto it already.
Yeah.
But like I could see them doing like a box that's like $100, because it doesn't have like a real CPU or GPU. It just has like a literally just enough to run,
just to do what
just
it has
to run
to do,
like the Microsoft streaming service, and then you just stream everything to it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, I think that is probably going to become the future of gaming. I mean, physical media is always going to exist, if not alienate everybody. That's like getting rid of CDs and vinyls. People will be pissed.
I mean, see, the thing is like, in terms of streaming, I think as much as the technology is improving, I feel like
the thing is, the bigger it gets,
internet's not good enough around the world for it to be like a permanent solution.
That's the problem.
Physical media is always going to have to be around, or else you're alienating a huge
I was about to say that
portion of potential customers. You know what I mean?
Because like a lot of people could just hope for it, but it's like we could hope for anything. Yeah. But when it gets played out, it's like if games are 250 gigabytes on the next gen consoles to load. Could you imagine streaming that?
Oh my god!
Even with my bandwidth, that'd be like
insane.
Yeah, your bandwidth would be.
That's another thing. Is a lot of people have bandwidth caps that they can't exceed, or they have to pay extra, or even get their internet shut off.
And some people are just under a rock, and they still have 5 megabyte a second internet.
I mean, that's mostly not even people's choice, though. Like, I mean, especially like in the Midwestern United States, there's not like people don't have a choice.
I do know though.
With stuff like that,
our internet though legally has to start getting better because of the curve on the rest of the world.
I mean, even still,
the UK's flying high, man.
Because I know, for instance, Google Stadia recommends whenever the service launches.
Oh, that's their game service, right?
Yeah, they're like streaming service.
Their streaming service.
For 1080p 60 FPS, they recommend a minimum of 20 megabits per second.
That ain't
bad. For 4K 60 FPS, they recommend 25 megabits per second, which doesn't make sense to me, because 4K is 4 times the resolution, which means it's 4 times the data, which doesn't make sense to me. Why would only be a 5 megabit difference? But whatever.
Maybe they want you to buffer. I have no idea. That's interesting. I mean, I think the average package now is 30 megabytes down and 5 up. I think that's your average package, is it?
Somebody did the math, and the average internet speed in the United States is like somewhere hovering around like 10, 15.
Damn.
So,
wow, yeah, okay. Alrighty. Yep, that definitely, that concerns me a little bit, because, I mean,
there are a lot of people that have way more than that.
Yep.
I mean, obviously not to brag, but I mean, Service Electric is always upping their freaking
thank God
speeds. I think I just got a letter in the mail that my package is now going to be like 500 down, 50 up, or something like that.
So that means I probably have one for my package then in the mail, because I'm already, God, I think I'm at 70.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It started at 35, but this is over a few years. So
yeah.
It's like
mine started at 100 and now it's at like 500 down.
God damn, you made 5 times your speed back. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
For the same damn price.
I think they've upped the price a little bit, but like maybe like a $20-$30 difference, which isn't too bad.
Hey, for that output though, you could do whatever the hell you want with that, man. That's crazy.
But yeah, with that being said, the future of
future gaming
consoles, the next gen of consoles is looking great, very promising, and it's gonna be interesting to see how Sony and Microsoft take their different approaches and to see where they go with it. I mean, like we said, we don't know much about the Xbox 2. In terms of games, there's nothing really rumored for it. I could see a Gears 5 remaster or like a cross-gen launch for Gears 5 and for Halo Infinite.
Minecraft.
But, I mean, Minecraft is easy. I mean, Microsoft owns Minecraft, so it's not hard for them to...
I'll predict the Minecraft game, but...
It's not going to be a new Minecraft game. It's just going to be Minecraft for Xbox 2 or whatever it's called.
I think it's going to be interesting, though, because I feel like for this generation, I don't know if all the game companies are in direct competition to kill each other with sales. I think it's more of a, hey, guys, here's our console. This is what we want to do. We'll see what we ship. I don't think it's like, yo, Sony shipped this. We only ship this.
Yeah, I mean, people are still going to compare it that way.
People are going to compare. I think the companies
But I don't think the companies really give that much of a shit anymore. As long as...
I just think it's cool how...
As long as they don't straight up fail and lose money on it, then I think they're fine.
I just think it's cool how Xbox and Sony are, like, super cool to the point where on their presentations, they'll, like, wish each other luck. And they'll say how much they play their Xbox or... Hey, I was just playing my PlayStation 4 today, and it was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, or even stuff like at the Game Awards where they had Reggie from Nintendo, Phil Spencer from Xbox, and Sean Layden from PlayStation all on stage together.
They were just chilling. Yeah, like, if this was 10 years ago, I would have been like, wow, who's going to die first? But now it's like, yo, we're all buddies, so we're all in this together, so it should be a great generation. I can't wait.
I'm excited. Guys, let us know if you're excited for PS5 or Xbox 2 or Google Stadia or whatever.
Or whatever the hell it's called.
Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the heck it's going to be called. Whatever the heck they're all going to be called.
Xbox Unicorn Fun Princess. Over the Rainbow 10 times 2. Yep.
But
who knows?
Guys, let us know if you're excited. If you guys didn't know, this has been Pizza and Pixels. Of course, it's the podcast where JP and I order pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. You can get it every other Saturday at noon Eastern on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom. And you can get it on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, just really anywhere that you can listen to podcasts already. But that being said, guys, until next time, another one bites the crust.